I'm going to start today's presentation by asking y'all a simple but deep question. What does a good life mean to you? Think about it for a second. We all have very different answers to this question. Some might say, well, being the top of my field, that's a good life for me. Some might say, well, getting into the best university and being the top of my class, that's indeed a good life for me. Some might say, well, earning $100 billion in the future, that's a perfect life for me indeed. Well, I'm not sure whether that's possible or not, but keep reading. Now think about this second question. Does this definition of a good life come from yourself, or the pressure from friends, the pressure from parents, the pressure from society? We're constantly pushed towards this goal called success without any second thought about it. Our lives are seemingly defined by the views and expectations of other people. At least that's what happened with me a while ago. I had my IGCSE exams last year. It was extremely stressful, and not only stressful because of the exams per se, but because of the fear of doing bad on them, the fear of failing the expectations given to me by my teachers and peers, and failing the definition of success given to me by my teachers and peers. And I believe y'all have experienced this at some point in your life. The kind of voice that constantly buzzes in your mind telling you how you ought to act, what you ought to think, what achievements you ought to have, and what life you ought to lead. And I never reflected on myself. I never knew what I wanted. I never knew my own wishes. I never knew what or whom I am. We're constantly pushed towards this goal called success without any second thought about it. Our lives are seemingly defined by the expectations and views of other people. Our parents tell us what kind of life is worth living. Our teachers tell us to become people we can never be. And apart from these two examples, social media and peer pressure are the two more significant factors driving our changes, driving the changes in our self-identity in this modern era. Let's start with peer pressure. Our friends are probably the closest people we have apart from family members. But they have their own interests, they have their own lives, they have their own views. However, in order for us to fit in, we're sometimes compelled to change ourselves. It could be a small change, like a change in our taste in music, or it could be something as big as to start using drugs. But apart from the damage dealt by the outcomes, the peer pressure, the very pressure that drives us to change ourselves, that is also harmful. Have you guys experienced this? Say you like something small, like a specific type of clothing or a certain type of food. And because it's weird in the eyes of other people, you get judged by them, and then you start to doubt your own choices. I remember when I told my friends that I like this fermented bean soup called 豆汁儿 in Chinese. Bean juice. Does anyone like it here? No, okay. I'd say it's more of an acquired taste, and it's weird. It has this suspicious green color, and it kind of smells like vinegar. I know, not too good. Anyways, when I told my friends that I liked this bean juice, they were in shock. They were confused about why I would like something that tasted horrid, even after I explained myself. So then I started to doubt my own choices. Why did I like this? Is the food not classy enough? Is there something wrong with my taste buds or anything? And I just fell into this lane of self-doubt over something so small and unimportant and trivial. On the other hand, social media does the same thing. We're constantly bombarded by the perfect lives led by perfect people on social media. We're told to differentiate between success and failure. We're told of a set of guidelines to follow, thus to have a successful life. We are told to follow certain trends or change ourselves accordingly. And they make us think that whom we are right now, we're not good enough. And usually these guidelines are unrealistic, they're unachievable, and they're unsuited for us. When I see these trends on social media, I tend to fall into this cycle of self-doubt. This is a weird infographic. First I see them. I start to lose confidence in my original self. And I try to follow these guidelines, follow these unrealistic ones, and obviously I would fail. But then I even lose more confidence, and I try even harder, and I fail even harder, and this cycle just persists. Oh, but I'm not here to say that, we should ban social media entirely, and we should never ever talk to our friends because of peer pressure. No. I'd say that's an unrealistic and frankly a terrible solution. We're social animals, we need social interaction, and we need to learn how to navigate through these things by ourselves, thus to become self-sufficient human beings in the modern society which we live in. The way I found for myself to navigate through these issues is via identifying yourself first. I know this sounds very abstract and weird, but bear with me, I think it's going to make more sense later on. I identified myself by identifying my own passion. To me, a passion is something deeper than a hobby. It comes directly from whom you are. It comes directly from your self-identity. I found that my passion lied in astronomy. I would go outside late at night just to catch a glimpse of the burning stars, billions and billions and billions of light years away, and capture them. These are some photos I took. And I would never ever get tired. I would stay outside hours upon hours and just enjoy the view. And this opened a new life for me, a life that is mine and mine only. Another way to identify yourself, you can simply reflect. You can reflect on your actions, reflect on your ideas, reflect on whom you are, and know what you like, know what you dislike, know what defines you from within, not from the labels and ideas and expectations given to you by other people, but from yourself. And afterwards, what I've realized afterwards I got to know myself better is that not all external influences are bad. If you know yourself well enough, you can actively select external stimuli, thus to become a better version of yourself. And then we can, to quote the most ingenious and philosophical piece of literature in the entirety of human history, Toy Story, we can go to infinity and beyond. We live in a chaotic society in which everybody is told to follow a certain paradigm, a certain way to dress yourself, a certain way to look, a certain way to think, a certain way to act, a certain way to live out your life. But as unique beings, so unique that no person who has ever existed or who will ever exist will be the exact same as us, we need to cherish our self-identities. We're born possessing a specific combination of genetic material. We're born at this specific era, in a specific year. We're privileged to know the specific persons that we know. We have these specific ideas that pop into our minds. We have these specific experiences that shape our lives and views. And we are sitting in this room at this instance, listening to a weird dude who likes astronomy, bean juice, and who likes to use weird infographics, and who likes to use y'all talk about self-identity. And thus, we, each individual, we're truly unique. We're one of a kind, we are different, we are amazing, we are brilliant, and I needn't tell y'all that, for that is the truth. Hence, why bother trying to become a person that is not you? Why bother leading a life that is not yours when your life led by your authentic selves is a good life? Thank you.